When starting a piston-driven airplane, the process involves the use of a magneto to power the aircraft's spark plugs. In this video, we're going to go in depth on the operations of a basic magneto and how it relates to your aircraft engine. Now, a magneto is a self-contained generator of high voltage that provides ignition to the engine through the use of spark plugs. This device incorporates a magnet, hence the reason it's called a magneto, which spins in close proximity to a coil of wire. As the magneto spins, it generates a magnetic force, which produces a high voltage that is then jumped to the spark plugs, creating spark. But beyond the magnet and the coils around which it spins, there's a little bit more to the magneto that needs to be understood to help you grasp a basic ignition system. This understanding begins with the start process. Your typical aircraft will have some type of electrical system, which ultimately initiates the entire process. Now, once electrical power becomes available, typically turned on by something like a battery master switch, the starter system is armed and ready to be then engaged. Next, a starter sequence is initiated by the use of a button, switch, or key. Once the button, switch, or key is engaged, a starter is activated. A very common starter incorporates the use of a Bendix gear, which extends to make contact with the flywheel of an aircraft's engine. This starts the spinning of the propeller, drive shaft, and internal engine components. The magneto, which is connected to the engine's internal components, also begins to spin. Now, if you recall, the magneto has an internal magnet that spins in close proximity to a set of coils. This close proximity of the magneto and the coils generates energy, which is then used by the spark plugs to create spark. Now, during the start process, when the starter engages the flywheel, the RPMs are typically too low to generate sufficient electrical energy within the magneto. Now, the magnetos are equipped with a spring-like device called an impulse coupler. This impulse coupler is designed to snap the magneto, causing it to spin fast enough to generate enough electrical energy for the spark plugs to produce a spark. The magneto is connected to the impulse coupler by the means of a spring so that at low speeds, the magneto is temporarily held in place. After several revolutions of the engine's internal components, the spring is released from the impulse coupler, causing the magnet in the magneto to spin at a high RPM. This generates enough electrical energy to be sent to the spark plugs. Once the engine turns over and the combustion process has started, the magnetos are then fully functional, spinning at adequate RPMs to provide sufficient energy for the spark plugs.